Okay, so this will be the review sheet 23 quick video. Okay, first of all, this first box right here is going to be from the chapter 3 notes. So if you have any questions about how to do this, you should immediately flip back to your chapter 3 notes. A couple things I'll just quickly remind you. When you're multiplying fractions, it's actually very easy. You do not need to find a common denominator. All you can do is you can just simply do top times top, bottom times bottom, but then you got to remember to simplify at the end. Okay? The other little trick that you can do is, remember, you can do that thing called cross-simplifying, where you basically take 10 and 20, for instance, and you say, okay, what factor do they share, or what can both of those two numbers be divided by, and you can divide that out. So I know that both of those have a factor of 10, so I divide that 10 out. So 10 divided by 10 is 1, 20 divided by 10 would be 2. Okay, and then I could do something else for 9 and 18. I'm going to stop there, but you could do it that way. You don't have to cross-simplify, but you can. Okay, so that's it on that one. So then here, this is another multiplication, fraction multiplication one. The only thing here is you got to remember you cannot multiply or divide mixed numbers. So the first thing you must do is to go around the barn on that. Okay, this one here, you must show 2 steps. Pretty much the entire chapter 3 notes is talking about how to show division. The whole chapter is really about division of fractions. But as most of you probably remember, or hopefully you remember, in order to be able to divide fractions in mixed numbers, you must know how to multiply them, because they're the same thing with one minor little change. So I'm going to stop there, but definitely make sure you have 2 steps on this. And if you don't know what 2 steps, look back to your chapter 3 notes. They're right there. Okay. Here, this is also from chapter 3. So you can always look. I want to say it's learning target number maybe 7 or 8, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but regardless, it's in the back part of that, and it's dividing decimals. So doing the actual algorithm for long division. Okay. The only thing I'm going to say is that number right there, the divisor, something has to happen to it. Okay. You can look back to your chapter 3 notes to figure out what, but something has to happen to that, which is then going to impact the dividend as well. So go back to your notes on that one and check it out. Okay, here is another question here. This will be from chapter 5. So proportions, proportional reasoning, things like that. Haley received 9 out of 20 possible. So obviously that is going to be your, hopefully you're all saying, fake ratio, or the fratio as a lot of you called it. Okay, and it's all about labels. So we know she got 9 correct out of a total. So it's going to be correct to total, correct to total. What I bracketed in blue, that is your fake information. What I'm going to underline in red, that's what's going to be your real information. Okay? So then from there you should be able to figure it out. Do not round on that one. You can have a decimal on that. Okay? Next one is talking about when these machines were being cleaned. Okay, one's being cleaned every 12 weeks, one being cleaned every 8 weeks. Okay? Couple different words. There's a word. By the way, this is chapter 1. So if you need to review back to chapter 1, there's some keywords. We actually, in your chapter 1 notes, there's a whole box of words that will help you to be able to identify one of these two. Okay? It's either going to be GCF or LCM, I'll just tell you that. Okay? So then you're going to have to go through and figure out what these words mean. Fewest, also, again, is always a good one to use. And then same week. And then there's another word that I always put in quotes. I'm not going to put it here, but it's there, if that makes sense. It's just not, it's not there, but it's what we're asking about, something that's happening in the something. Okay? All right, so let's go on. Okay? Now, remember, I'm going to be very picky about this question. This is what we're doing right now in chapter 7. Okay? I need to see, in order for this to be correct when we grade this, okay, I need to see it. First of all, that algebraic expression, I need to see it turned into a numeric expression. So 6 times 5 squared minus 5 times 4 plus 8. Notice, I really did no math. I didn't do any operations. I didn't add, subtract, multiply, or divide, which is what you're supposed to do. Okay, now I'm going to follow PEMDAS, and I'm going to solve it just like I would have, with it just being a numeric expression. Okay, I will not accept, if you skip this step, guys, it will be wrong. Hope everybody's clear on that. And reason why is because I'm just protecting you from making the mistake that a lot of students will make. Okay, so you have to do that. You're one step rewrite every time, one step. Okay. Here, now it's really weird on your paper. It didn't come out very good, but this is actually supposed to be a plus, so pay close mind to that. On some people's papers it looked like a division sign, so those are pluses. Also, this is a plus. By the way, going back to this one also did look like a division sign too, so that's also a plus. Okay, so those are all addition signs. Okay, once again, the first thing, now we always got to remember, whenever we see a fraction that has an expression, so something happening in a numerator or denominator, we always want to put that in parentheses. That's the first thing. And then again, we need to show that algebraic expression becoming a numeric expression. So you're probably going to need a separate sheet of paper. When I did my work on my answer key, I did it on, I think it was on the second page right here. I think I had a room right here. I did it right in there somewhere. Okay? So, going back here, we show it. So 6k would be 6 times 10 plus 10 over 5 plus, and then leave my parentheses, 10 minus 2 divided by 8. Okay? And then I know obviously we need to write PEMDAS. Now just keep this in mind, because again, it's going to be wrong if you don't do this. You must show one step and rewrite. So therefore I'm going to do the parentheses first and then go from there. Okay, remember, multiplication and division happen at the same time, so you must go left to right on multiplication after you've done these parentheses. Okay, this one here will be the same way. It's going to be multiple steps. If you don't have every single step, I'm counting it wrong. Okay, so I need to first of all see you make this 13 parenthesis 11 minus 3 times 3, because there's what x equals, parenthesis plus, and then all this just substituting 3 in there. But I don't want you to do it that way. I don't want you to just write over top of it. I want you rewriting it. Okay? So again, if you don't have every step, you don't do it the way I want to do it. Remember, I don't check work because it'd take me so long to check them if I try to check everybody's work. You guys all know what one step at a time means. And I've made myself very clear on how I want this done. Okay? Here, this is kind of a different situation because there's really nothing happening inside. Remember, this is just there's nothing happening inside the parentheses, like besides multiplication. So really, this is just this. That's all that is. Okay? So really, I guess you're distributing, but it's not really distributing because it's just showing multiplication. 3 times 6m. Okay? The one thing I'm seeing some people do is they're not seeing this parenthesis here. They're almost making it seem like it's this. Like they're doing it as if it was this. And they're distributing that to that and to that. You can't do that. Okay? That it's not saying 3 times that too. The parentheses there for a reason. So you distribute here, and then of course you'll combine like terms at the end to simplify. Okay? Same kind of deal here. By the way, I've lost track of all the chapters. I quit writing them, but pretty much everything we've done, all these right here, that's been chapter 7, chapter 7. This one's chapter 7, chapter 7. So we're really hitting the current stuff hard on this review sheet. Now this one's different because there's 3 terms inside, but it doesn't change how you do it. You're going to distribute. You're going to distribute. You're going to distribute. And then, of course, when you're done, make sure you simplify it by combining like terms. Okay, so you should distribute first and then combine like terms. Okay? Again, chapter 7, once again here. You're just distributing, distributive property. Same deal. Okay? Here, you're just distributing. You're telling me then, after you distribute this, you're telling me if the distributed, whatever you get there, is equal to this. And if it is, you'll write yes. Yes or no. Or then down here you'll do the same thing. You'll distribute, and then you'll tell me yes or no. They're the same. Okay? And then you're proving it. Okay? All right, next page. All right, this first one's been kind of a confusing question for some people, so I'm going to kind of do maybe one just to kind of help you. Okay, it's this big table. Now, this is just a function table, which I know you guys know what those are. You may have called them I think you called them function tables in elementary. Regardless, here we have our x, which we know is our first number of our coordinates. So we know it goes x, y, so that's the first number. Now, in order to find the y, we have to put this 3 in some sort of rule. So we're going to take it and we're going to plug it into this little equation right here. So we're going to plug 3 in for x, and then we're going to do 3 minus 3, and that's going to give us the y, which is 0. So our first coordinate is 0. Okay, next one, now I'm going to plug 5 in for x, because this is my new x for this one. 5 minus 3, that would give me 2, which would make this 5, 2. Okay, so anyway, now you'll be able to figure out these last two x's. I pretty much gave you half the answers there, so nobody should be missing it now. Then once you get all your coordinates there, then you're just going to plot them down here. Just remember though, whenever you like, this isn't the right answer, so don't think it is. But let's say I had that kind of situation. When you connect these, you don't just connect them like that. Okay, you always connect them with an arrow. That'll make more sense in the next couple years, but that's how you should start doing it now. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Okay, now this is a biggie right here. This is one that I've been correcting on a lot of people's papers. Guys, I have made myself very clear. When you do multiple choice questions, you're not just looking for the right answer. Remember, my rule is find the 3 wrong answers. So I keep writing prove on all these papers that I've been checking. Okay, and what I mean by prove is I want you to take letter A and say, okay, I'm going to take 1, I'm going to plug it in. So 4 times 1 plus 8. I'm going to solve this, simplify it I should say, to get 12. Now does that equal 36? No. So A is eliminated. And I'm going to do the same thing for B. I'm going to do the same thing for C. I'm going to do the same thing for D. Okay? So that's what I want. If you don't have the prove here, it will be wrong. I don't care whether you have the answer circled or not. I want you guys to get in a good habit of finding the 3 wrong answers and actually proving them. Okay? Next one. Same way here. You must prove all answers. Whether you're proving them to be correct or proving them to be incorrect, I expect you to go through here and I expect you to distribute all of these to see which one gives you that. Okay? So you need to go through, and everybody should have it written where you're distributing all the way through. For instance, letter D. If I'm taking 8AB times 2, that's going to give me 16AB, right? Because think about it. It's just 8 times, it's just this. 8 times A times B times 2. That's basically all that's saying. And because of the commutative property, I can move this stuff around and move that over here. So I can go ahead and do 8 times 2, 16AB. And then here, I can do 8AB times 3 would give me 24AB. Then, of course, that would simplify to 40AB, but that's beside the point. Okay? So would that be that, though? Are those the same? No. So I just eliminated D by doing the distributive property. So that's what I mean by prove. Okay? All right, next one. This one. Okay, now a lot of people are like, well, Mr. Garrison, I would do a proportion on this one. And I said, sure, you could do a proportion. Go ahead and set up the proportion. You know it's going to be unit rate, right? Because we want to know for each notebook. So I'm going to go ahead and do one notebook. Notebook, money, money. What's my fake ratio? Well, it's right here. And then put that information in and then ask yourself, what problem would you be doing when you cross multiply and divide? It'll be one of these 4. Okay? Next one. This has been kind of a tricky one for people. The only thing I'm going to say, that, by the way, you have to have a proportion on this one. Okay, you have to have a proportion. But the one thing that's throwing people is it's about dollars per hour. So you know it's going to be money to hours, money to hours. Okay? But here's the key. This is what's messing with people. It doesn't give you a fake ratio of money to hours. It gives you this kind of weird thing where they say 2 hours each night for 10 nights, and then it gives you the money. Well, it's not just giving me a certain amount of hours. So here's what you need to do. You need to figure out how many total hours that would be. And however many hours that is, that's how much money you get for that many hours. So if it's 2 hours each night for 10 nights, you should be able to figure out how many hours that is. That'll become your fake ratio. We know that we're doing earned per hour, so we know we're talking about unit rate per hour. There we go. That'll give you your answer. Okay? Let's go ahead and go to the next, or the back here. Area, just, always want you to try to draw a picture here. Think about it. If you were finding the area of this, you would do what I call base times height. Now, I know that's the same. Some of you learned it as length times width. It's the same thing. Instead of calling this the length, you're calling it the base. Instead of calling this the width, you're calling it the height. That doesn't matter. But here's the key. Normally, we do base times height to find the area. Well, guess what? We're given the area. Okay, we know that right there is the area, and then it gives us the length, or the base, whatever, So it's giving us this. So we know this is 5/9. I'm going to remind you. Remember, when you're doing multiplication, you know the parts, and you're trying to figure out a whole. Okay? So when you find area, you're doing part times part equals whole. So when you're trying to find one of the parts, what's the inverse of multiplication would be whole divided by part. And then obviously I would need to see the work there since that's fractions. So that kind of goes back to the first page, number 1 right here, the work that I require for showing division of fractions. And you'll have to show that work there. Okay? Chapter 3 if you need to check. And then finally, I'm not going to help you out on this one because we had this same question last week. So you have the ability to go back to the review sheet number 21 quick video, or just look back at your review sheet number 21. You should have taken notes when we were grading it to figure out how I wanted it done. So it's the same question. The only difference is it's a different fake ratio. The real information is still the same, but the fake is different. Okay? So that's that. All right. I hope this helped, guys.